Welcome to the program. Mathematics is fun. Mathematics is fun in any domain. Whether you're eating, you're sleeping, you're having a relationship, whether you're driving, anything, everything involves mathematics, regardless of what. So today we want to rejoice over the fact that God gave us a thought how to manipulate mathematics. We either add, subtract, divide, or multiply. But when you add and multiply, you are in God's domain. But when you divide or you subtract, you are in the enemy's domain. And we'll come to that in another time. But right now we're talking about bringing forth this thought. Pythagoras theorem or the sine or cosine rule. Now let's go. If you notice carefully, I have a triangle here. And it has here this sine, this is a right angle. This right angle is called a right angled triangle. This one doesn't have any right angle, so it is not like this. There are two different types of triangles. If it's like this, and I want to find a side or an angle, I use Pythagoras or trig ratio. In this case here, I draw the triangle I have here. The side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. It's called the hypotenuse. And according to Pythagoras said, man, if you're going to use my theorem, find the hypotenuse first. Okay, let's use it. Using Pythagoras theorem, it implies that find the hypotenuse first. Okay, I get it. What happened? He said, when you get it, square it. He said that answer there is equal to the other side square plus the other side square. That's what he said. And it's basic. Find the hypotenuse. The side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. So when you get it, square it. He said when you get the answer, that answer is equal to the other side square plus the other side square. That's it there. So if I have, by chance, I have a right angle triangle here, and this is 3, and this is 4, or this is x, and this is 5, and I want to find x. It's a right angle triangle, and I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem. In a case like this, according to Pythagoras, find the hypotenuse first. Using Pythagoras theorem, it implies 5, the hypotenuse, square it. That is equal to the other side square plus the other side square. So what it means 5 square. This goes over minus 3 square is equal to x square. So it's 25 minus 9 is equal to x square. So 16 is equal to x square. Get rid of this power, you root the other side, plus or minus, so you get the answer is 4 is equal to x. And that's using Pythagoras theorem. But suppose I have a triangle, a right angle triangle also, and this right angle triangle, and I'm given an angle here. Let's say angle is 60 degrees. Well, let's make it easy. Let's say 30 degrees. And this is, you want to find this here. And you're given, let's say given here is 20 meters. Right away I recognize that it's a right angle triangle, so I have to use Pythagoras theorem or trig ratio. Since I'm given an angle, I use trig ratio. Since I'm not given an angle, I use Pythagoras theorem. I'm given an angle, I use trig ratio. I must know the roots of trig ratio. Trig ratio entails sine theta is equal to opposite side over hypotenuse. Cos theta implies adjacent side over hypotenuse. Tan theta is equal to opposite side over adjacent side. Opposite side over adjacent side. So we go from there. This is the ratio that we're referring to. I'm going to use one of these here. if I'm going to use trig ratio, the first thing I do, and it's always go the first, everything is the first. You get up in the morning, the first thing I do, you know what you have to do the first thing. You're going to solve this using Pythagoras theorem. The first thing I do, I'm going to use trig ratio. The first thing I do, I look for the angle. Trig ratio, the first thing I do is look for the angle. I see the angle. What is this to the angle? It's called the opposite side. Am I given the opposite side? Yes, x. What is this to this? Hypotenuse. This is hypotenuse. Am I given hypotenuse? No. So therefore this is adjacent. I'm given opposite, I'm given adjacent. So I can safely say opposite and adjacent is tan. Using tan 30 degrees is equal to opposite side over adjacent side. So let's go to 20 tan 30 is equal to x. And when you work it out in your calculator, you'll find your answer there. And that will give you your answer for x using the trig ratio. Now, let's move across now. This is just recapping last week's work by using Pythagoras theorem and trig ratio. Now you have to know how to handle your calculator. Now let's move across to one where we're going to use what they call the sine rule or cosine rule. I start here. I have here a triangle that does not have a right angle. Here we have a right angle. This does not have a right angle. So if I use the sine rule or cosine rule, sine rule or cosine rule, which one? I don't know. For me to decide, I look to see if I have two pairs. Two pairs. What is a pair? Side and an angle opposite. Side and an angle opposite. Or angle, side opposite it. Do I have two pairs? This is angle and that's side. That's one pair. This is angle and that side, that's another pair. I have two pairs. Because I have two pairs, I use the sine rule. Two pairs give me sine rule. What is it I want? I want a side. Because I want a side, I put side at the top. So say, using side rule, it implies side over that the pair. Sine 30 degrees is equal to side over sine 50 degrees. I want x. I cross multiply, I get x is equal to sine 30 times 40. Sine 30 over 40 times sine 50 degrees. So x is equal to, sine 30 is a half, 0.5 times 40 over sine 50. And that's equal to 20 over sine 50 degrees. Sine 50 degrees. And that's equal to, if I would use a calculator, I would get 20 over 0.766. And when I work it out, I will get something like this, 26.109. And that's equal to 26.1 meters or whatever it is, whatever it is, meters. And I must put here correct to one decimal place. I must add it in because you can't jump to it like that. And that becomes my answer for this here. I have another triangle here. In this triangle here, I'm going to, in this triangle, again, it's not a right angle triangle. It's one that doesn't have a right angle. And I want to find an angle now. To do that, I use the sine or cosine rule. For me to decide on that, I look to see if I have two pairs. Angle on the side, that's one pair. Angle on the side, that's another pair. Yes, if I have two pairs, I use the sine rule. In this case here, I say here, I will say, in this case here, I'm going to use the sine rule. Using sine rule, it implies, what is it you want? You want angle. I put the angle in front. Sine the angle over the side is equal to sine the angle over the side. Again, I want this here, I don't want that, so I cross multiply. So I say sine the angle is equal to 20 times sine 60 over 50. And sine 20 times sine 60 over 50 is equal to 20 times sine 60, 0.866 over 50. I'm going to multiply that and that to get 17.32 over 50. And that's equal to 0.3464. So I say sine the angle is equal to that. You have to, this is not your answer, you want theta. So it says sine theta, use a calculator, inverse of that is equal to 20.26. 20.26. So theta is equal to 20 degrees, and I put here nearest degree. Theta, the angle to the nearest degree. And that's it here. It's always good to say what you're doing, and I'm doing that there. And that takes care of what they call the sine rule. Sine rule, 2 pairs. If you have 2 pairs, I use the sine rule. Don't have the 2 pairs, I use the cosine rule because it's not a right angle triangle. Now let's go to the cosine rule. In the cosine rule, I will now let's go to the cosine rule. Let me try it over. $14 meters, 12 meters, 60 degrees, x. We're using the cosine rule. Cosine rule. First question. This triangle, does it have a right angle? No. So therefore, I cannot use trig ratio or Pythagoras theorem. Rather, I'll use the sine rule or the cosine rule. For me to decide which of the two, sine rule or cosine rule, for me to decide on that, I look to see if you have 2 pairs. What is a pair? A pair is a side and an angle opposite. Yes, I have one there. I have a side, but there's no angle. I have a side and there's no angle. So there's no 2 pairs, there's 1 pair. Because you don't have 2 pairs, I use the cosine rule. In our language, we say that cosine rule, the pair I'm referring to. You write down the pair, and then you write the pair. That there is equal to, we call it SS minus 2S. Cos the angle. Now this might be some strange, but we do something called the SS2S principle. SS2S. Square the first, S means square the first term, square the second term, and you squeeze twice. So we see x is equal to square the next, I have it side already, square the first side, square the second side, minus 2 squeeze when you bring them together. S, square the first, square the second, and you squeeze twice. You squeeze once, 14 by 12, twice, and you put the cos the angle. So what do I have? X squared is equal to 144 plus 196 minus 32, 74, 10, 4 is 96, 74, 1, 74, 9 is 33. Cos 6 is 0.5. Let me see if I have that there. So x squared is equal to 6 and 4, 10, 1, 9, 10, and 4, 14, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 4, 10. Minus 3, 36. Half of 3, half of that is 260, 228, 168. So therefore x then square is equal to 8 and 2, 10, 1, 6, 7, 7, 14, 1, 2, 1, 72. X is equal to the square root of, get your power, you root the other side, 172, plus some, I use the plus. So x is equal to 13.11. That's equal to, this x is equal to 13.1, correct, to 1 decimal place. That's meters. And that's using the cosine rule. What's the cosine rule? Because there's no two pairs, there's only one pair, I use the cosine rule. I use this principle, SS minus 2S. We'll talk about that later. But SS, in our understanding, is square the first side, the other side, square the next side, minus 2 squeeze. Squeeze when you bring them together. 2 squeeze, cos the angle there. And that's it there. So that's it there. Well, let's assume that we have another triangle. In this case here, let's assume we have another triangle. Let's take out this here. And let's put this here as 30, 40, and 50. And you have there theta. Let's say we had that. Question, find angle. Does the triangle have a right angle? No. I cannot use Pythagoras nor trig ratio because it does not have a right angle. If it has a right angle, I will use them. If it does not have, I use the sine or the cosine rule. Let's go. Which of the two must I use? I look for two pairs. What is a pair? Angle and a side. It's called a pair. I have here angle and I have a side, a pair. I have here a side, no angle, not a pair. I have a side and no angle, no pair. So therefore, it's not. I wouldn't use the sine rule. I only use the sine rule if I have two pairs. In this case here, I don't have two pairs, so I use the cosine rule. Using cosine rule, it implies what cosine rule says. Cosine rule says, write on the pair. The left hand is the side, square it, and the right hand is the angle, cos the angle. What goes in the middle? SS minus 2S. That's the cosine rule. The pair, left hand is the side, right hand is the angle. What goes in the middle? In basic language, we say, what is in the belly? Well, this is in the belly. SS minus 2S. What do you mean by SS2S? We'll come to that now. SS2S. We come to that, we say 30 square is equal to S, being square the other side, plus square the other side, minus 2 squeeze being come together, cos the angle. So it's 30 square is equal to, or let's put this way, 30 square is equal to 900. 40 square is equal to 1600. 500. 5 4 22 is 40, there's 4000. cos the angle. Okay, let's go. It's 900 minus 25 16 4100 minus 4000 cos the angle. Now many persons have a tendency to subtract. Don't fall into that trap. You're doing equation. The equation says, what is it you want? You want this. What is it I don't want? I don't want this. I don't want this. What is this doing to this? Multiplying. What is this doing to this? Subtracting. I get rid of multiplication last. I get rid of this first. So I said 900. This is plus. Get rid of it. Use the inverse. The inverse is minus 4100 is equal to minus 4000 cos the angle. Okay, let's go. 2 from third. One is third. 200 is equal to minus 4000 cos the angle. What is this doing to that? Multiplying. Get rid of it, you divide. Divide on both sides. 8 4 is 32, 8 5 is 40 is equal to cos the angle. When you divide that, you get 0.8 is equal to cos that. So you find in your calculator what is 0.8. 0.8 is 36.86 is equal to cos 8 inverse. Cos 8 is equal to that. The inverse of cos this is equal to 26.86. And that's equal to 37 degrees is equal to that. To the nearest degree. And that there takes care of that. So what we did today, we looked at trig ratio, we revised Pythagoras theorem, revised trig ratio, and we did that using the what you call the right angle triangle. But when you don't have right angle triangle, you want to find a side or an angle, we use a sine rule or cosine rule. And we did that here. The sine rule, you must have two pairs if you have if you're going to use it. What is a pair? A side and an angle opposite it, and the side and the angle opposite it. If you have two pairs, you can use the sine rule. If you don't have two pairs, use the cosine rule. In this example here, we have a side angle, that's one pair. Side, no angle, side, no angle, I'll have to use the cosine rule. Side, angle, one pair. Side, no angle, cosine rule. But in a sine rule, just to recap it, if I have a triangle like this here, and I have 40 degrees here, I have x here, I have here 50 here, let's say I have 50 meters, and I have here let's say 60 degrees. Again, not a right angle triangle. I have one pair angle on the side, I have one pair, another pair. So I have two pairs, so I use this sine rule. I use sine rule when I have two pairs. What is a pair? A side and an angle opposite it. Let's use the sine rule. Cosine rule, you have one pair. If you have one pair alone, use the cosine rule. So today, we looked at those two basic areas: Pythagoras theorem, trig ratio, sine rule, cosine rule. And we did both of them. We found in the sine rule the side, and we found in the sine rule the angle. And the same thing goes there. With that, we want to say we bless you, and we hope that you will be able to absorb what is said and done and be able to put it into practice. I encourage you, tell your friends about it, and let's get going. We have other areas to cover in a simple way. After all, mathematics is fun, and it will always be fun as long as we are looking at it in our own language, in our own styling. And we bless you. God bless you.